Hey guys, how you doing? What do you guys think about MMA guru actually sparring Arman Tsarukyan? Um, I was watching the stream of like Aiden Rose, Arman Tsarukyan, and the two fat guys who were there. Those are the guys who got beat up by Sean Strickland actually in sparring recently. And MMA Guru was like, "I'm gonna give it a try." The fat guy tried first against Arman Tsarukyan. He went first, and he was falling down face first. Every single time, it didn't look like he had any sort of athleticism. It looks like he could barely walk. Not trying to make fun of him, but it's like it didn't look like he had ever played any sort of sports. And then MMA Guru kind of stepped in, and I looked at the size of MMA Guru. And I was like, fucking big, massive guy. He's probably like 6'4", 6'5". I don't know how big he is. And he's like, so after the sparring, they actually posted a message where it's saying like he's like 310 pounds or something, and it was worth trying against Arman Tsarukyan. So he went against Arman Tsarukyan. It was like 1 minute that he had to shoot the takedown. 1 minute challenge. Arman wasn't trying offensively to take him down. He just had to defend the takedown. MMA Guru was gonna take him down, and Ed and Ross actually put like 20K on that. And what ended up happening is that MMA Guru just started falling on his face. He was like, it didn't look like he knew how to wrestle. It didn't look like he had a single class of wrestling. He wasn't getting the neckties. He wasn't getting the. Yeah, it was like he was just trying to push him. It was like there was no sort of like wrist control. He wasn't getting a front headlock or anything. There was no wrestling, to be honest. He was just trying to put his weight on him. He was trying to push into him. And he kept on talking about the single leg, but the thing is, he did not shoot for a single leg. It's like he's sorry, his stance was pretty high as well. So I don't know why he kept on talking about the single leg when he didn't have a low stance or didn't even try to shoot for the single leg. At least go for it. But you know what? I'm not even mad at him. It was worth trying, right? The guy's never trained in his life. It looks like, or maybe the people he's actually tried are not like actual fighters. So probably he's done like some grappling with his friends, but he's never actually trained at like a proper academy. But man, respect to him for actually giving it a try. One thing I would say, man, MMA Guru, his takes, like, they're so funny when he's actually like on it. I liked some of the videos. I liked some of the videos when he's talking about like John Jones. Man, those good videos were good. The only thing I don't like is like talks a lot of shit sometimes. It's like, especially about like the Dagestani fighters. So he's got like some of the favorite fighters. Like he would have some of his favorite fighters, but then there are fighters that he doesn't like, especially I would say the grappling based fighters. And it's not necessarily the Dagestani fighters, it's the fighters from the Caucasus regions that he kind of hates. Especially the fighters who actually brings like grappling heavy style, and sometimes the fights are not as entertaining as some people expect them to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have a fight of Hamza Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis? Was that the most fun fight? No. For a person of who understands grappling, I understand grappling to some extent. For me, it wasn't that bad. I could see the control. I could see how Hamza had Dricus Du Plessis and like crucifix. Was he advancing the position? Maybe he wasn't doing the best job at advancing the position, but it was the first title fight that he was in. So he was kind of playing a bit safe. He had very good control. I appreciate the control. Islam versus JDM. Islam tried a couple of submissions, Darces. He tried a couple of, what else did he try actually? So he tried Dars. And I mean, it was mostly Dars. He tried rear naked at one point. He was trying to get the back. But JDM was defending very well. But also, like, those guys, the opponents did not actually try to advance the position, so it was really hard to submit. I mean, when you're fighting at that level of UFC, like the championship level, and the other persons are not actually taking any risk at all because they're so scared of your grappling, that actually, I don't think that brings a lot of fault on you. So MMA Guru, he actually hates the fighters from those regions, and he talks a lot of shit against those fighters. So this is the only thing I don't like about MMA Guru, because I don't think he respects the fighters the way the fighters should be respected. Is he funny? Is he actually making good he's got the gift of the gab. He can naturally talk. He has the timing of the jokes. He has all of those things, but I think this is the thing that he needs to develop. Respect the fighters a little bit more. But I guess this is fan base, right? Or like if the fan base actually enjoys it, I understand that. For me, the best MMA YouTuber, if I have to talk about like my favorite MMA YouTuber, I think would be like Bedtime MMA, because he's very funny. Like he can do literally all accents. He can do Australian accents. He can do South African accent. Dricus Duplessis. He does JDM. There's so many other accents that he does, and it doesn't look like he's got like biased takes. He's very unbiased read everything. Like he would have favorite fighters from like the Caucasus regions. He would actually appreciate the art, and I think it comes from him training. Like I've heard he's like a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He's also trained like Muay Thai. He had like 8 Muay Thai fights. So he's been training. Like I'm just giving you one example, but I think there's a lot of MMA YouTubers that are actually like, training to some extent. So I think if a guy is training, they can actually understand him more and they can actually appreciate the art more. But with MMA Guru, because he doesn't train at all, I think he just doesn't respect some of the aspects of the game. He just doesn't understand how hard it is. He just doesn't understand some of the... I don't think he understands the basics of like grappling, like when the things are happening, right? So I think that's what he's got to... But he's amazing overall, like as a YouTuber. But that's his specialty, right? His specialty is actually creating some sort of like chaos, talking shit, and then creating his own fan base and creating the... I wouldn't call it a fan base, but creating a base of the people that actually hate him. So he creates sort of like division between the... And it's kind of fun at the same time, because then there's like 2 groups of people who are watching the fight and they're really on the fight. So yeah, but to me, I mean, he was going to lose anyway. I don't think there's any MMA YouTuber who's going to be able to beat Arman Tsarukyan. Nobody's taking Arman down. I mean, if I'm going against Arman Tsarukyan, I don't even have the size, but if I'm going against Arman Tsarukyan, he's taking me down in the first minute. So it's not even comparable. But yeah, good for him for trying. But I thought he would do better, to be honest. Like for the size that he had, like I would thought he would be a little bit more athletic, a little bit more. It would be putting a little bit more effort in. But I think because he's not living in America, so he's not having like the live interactions with the fighters. And I think that's also one of the reasons that he's talking a lot of shit, because he doesn't have to see those people, right? Whereas some of the other analysts who are actually living in the country where they have to see the fighters, like even Eden Ross, right? Like Eden Ross does the streaming. He's not specifically like an MMA YouTuber, but you wouldn't see him talking a lot of shit against the fighters because he actually sees the fighters, right? So I think if he goes out, he sees the fighters, he would see that the fighters he actually hates are pretty nice people as well. So he would develop like a different sort of respect. He wouldn't see them as like one community. All right, there's one community that I hate. He would see them as persons, individuals, and that would be different. Yeah, but Arman Tsarukyan, man, this guy is so amazing. That whole narrative of like Arman so inactive, it's completely gone. Like how many fights did this guy have? In the last 3 months, he beat the grappling championship. He won that grappling championship, submitted the guy, a Russian guy. He fought Dan Hooker, beat Dan Hooker, submitted Dan Hooker. He had a fight with Sher Magomedov, which he should have won actually. He dominated the fight, but it was the submission rules. And then he had a wrestling match with Lance Palmer, who was like an NCAA, 4-time NCAA All-American, finalist of NCAA. And Arman Tsarukyan completely dominated him. Did he have the size advantage? Yes, but again, if Lance Palmer was that much better than him, then he wouldn't be like this. He would at least be able to make it close. So yeah, Arman Tsarukyan deserves a title shot. And I think MMA Guru is humble as well. You could see the messages that he's like posting on Instagram after that. He's actually acknowledging the fact that Arman is the 155 number 1 contender. He is the best lightweight on the planet. And sometimes that's how you learn. Sometimes you think it's easy, but when you have to put yourself in that situation, that's when you learn.